Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up for a still life project using Pixlr and some great other free resources. So Pixlr is going to be our main painting app here. We're going to go ahead and start by coming over here on the left, click on Create New, and I'm going to simply go ahead and choose the Full HD 1920 by 1080 pixels. I'm going to make sure that background is turned on and the color is white. And we'll change the background later, but for now we'll just start like that. All right, I like to zoom out so I can see the outer edges there. Okay, so the very first thing we want to then do after creating our canvas is we want to come to this great site here, sketchfab.com. This is where you can view and upload 3D models. We're going to use it just as reference. So for instance, here's one that I show my students when they are learning how to draw the human head. This is called an Asaro head. And you'll see that some of them are you can buy. And then there are free ones down here as well. I want to choose one that has decent neutral lighting. So this one here with the white would probably be good. This one here with the blue. This one here is nice with the colors, but I feel like it's not lit enough to be able to really see what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this blue one here. And the way it works, even though this is a paid model, the way it works is that you can let it load. You can press F to go to full screen, click in the bottom corner there. You can left click and drag, and you can orbit around the entire model, and this is a fantastic resource for artists to just get the right angle that they want. You can get some really unique stuff. In addition to that, you can hold down the Alt key on a Windows or Chromebook, or hold down the Option key on a Mac. And when you hold down Option or Alt and you left click and drag, you'll see that you can change the lighting. You're really just kind of moving the lighting around in a 360-degree setup there. I don't believe you can't make the light go higher or lower, or change the angle. It's not like a spotlight or anything like that. So you have some limitation, but it's still really cool that you can do that. And then you would simply go ahead and take a screenshot. So there we go. Just took a screenshot, and now I could load that up as reference. So for this project, I'm going to go with something a little bit simpler. I'm going to type in Apple. And I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to settle on this green apple. Go full screen. Okay, so you want to let it load so you get all the nice textures. I kind of like seeing these little spots here. So I'm going to do something like that. And then hold down Alt or Option again and get the right lighting, whatever you want. And I think something like that. I got a nice shine there. It's a little darker over here. And so I'm going to go ahead and screenshot that. Okay, press Escape, get out of full screen. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Pixlr, and I'm going to do File Open, and I'm going to load up my screenshot of the apple. If this pops up, it's basically telling you that it's a really large image and wants to know, can it resize it? I'm going to go ahead and just say Original and hit Apply. If it slows down your machine, you can choose one of the other two options. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and click on the crop tool. And I'm just going to click and drag in on the upper left, make it fairly nice and tight. Click and drag over here. And then once I'm happy with that, I'll click on Apply. All right, now I'm going to do File and Save. And I'm going to save this as a JPEG. You can also do a PNG. And I'll call this Apple Ref for reference. I'm going to leave everything else as it is, and I'll just hit download. It's going to do its little countdown here, show me an ad, all that good stuff. and I'll go ahead and close it. I'll then close that image there, go back to my original canvas. Now I'm going to come over here with layers, and I have hidden my history panel just by clicking on this little dash mark here. It just hides it so I get to see more space with my layers. I'm going to click to add a layer. It's going to be an image layer. I'm going to go find my Apple Ref image that I got, and I'm going to bring it in, and I'll go ahead and I'll scale it down a little bit. Alright, so something like that. So we want it to be about half right there because I'm going to be drawing my apple over here on the left side. Okay, so the next resource in setting this up is going to be, we're going to emulate a gridding technique that artists use when they need some reference. And a lot of artists use the gridding technique when they want to scale an image up. We're not going to be scaling anything up, so it's going to be a little bit simpler. But we want to be able to draw it over here and kind of map it out, and we're going to use a grid to help us. So I'm going to go to this website here called Incompetech. It's a really, really great site. The guy's name is Kevin MacLeod, and he makes fantastic music. Not sound effects, but music that you can put in your YouTube videos and other things, other projects. You have to credit him, of course, but he also has some great graph paper here. And the cool thing is that you can use this for writing and bullet journaling. As you can see, a lot of really cool grids. We're going to be using these. There's some pattern templates here. There's really some awesome ones here. You really should check it out. Okay, so you can choose between simple boxes or plain grid. I'm going to go ahead and go with simple boxes. And this one is because when you scroll down, you can actually choose how many boxes you want. So these are the settings that I'm going to use. You can play around with it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the square size to 0.5, so half an inch. I'm going to change the line weight to medium so I can see them a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and lower the number. I'm going to make a perfect square, so I think I'm going to go ahead and settle on, I think I'll do 10 by 10. We'll see what that looks like. You can also come right down here and you can click and turn it from a portrait to a landscape. I'm doing a perfect square though, 10 by 10, so it's going to put a square in the middle. You can also click right here and you can change some of the settings. I'm going to change the margin. So instead of having a half-inch margin, I'm going to do 0.25. And let's download that as a PDF. Let's take a quick look, see what we get. Okay, so that's pretty good. So that's 10. I realize I could fill up the rest here because I have all this open space, but I think for simplicity I'm going to keep it at 10 squares. Now I'm on a Mac, so I'm on the preview program, so we have to change this to an image, like a JPEG or a PNG, for it to be able to go into Pixlr. So I'm in preview. If you have a Mac, I'm just going to go up here to File, Export, and I'm going to change the format from PDF to JPEG. And I'm going to simply call this grid. And I'm just going to hit save. And there we go. Now, if you are not on a Mac, you can open up a new tab in your web browser and you can search PDF to image converter. And this is a nice one here. pdf2image.com. You then click on Upload Files. You can go find your, here it is, the PDF, upload it. It will now convert it. It turns it into a zip file, which is fine. Just click on Download. So now when you go to your Downloads folder, you'll have a zip file, but when you open it up, it's just a JPEG inside. And you can see there it is right there. So now what we want to do is we want to go back to Pixlr and we want to do File, Open, and we basically want to crop the grid. We want to get rid of all the excess white space that we don't need. So again, I'm going to take the crop tool, click and drag it in, get it fairly close. Again, doesn't have to be perfect on all four sides. Click apply, and let's go ahead and save this back out. All right, and I'm going to call this grid final, and I'll download it. And again, that could be a JPEG or a PNG. Okay, so now the final step, I'm going to close that image. So now on my still life, I'm going to come over here to layers, add in an image layer. It's going to be the grid final. Okay, so I'm going to bring it on in. I'm going to scale it up so that it's covering the apple. Now we can't see it, so you're going to come over here and you're going to click on these three little dots, or you can right mouse click on the layer and it'll bring up the layers controls. I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply, and boom, there we go. You can now see it. So we basically want the grid to be over in all four directions, top, bottom, left, and right. And there we go, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and lock the apple layer. So again, I'm going to right mouse click, I'm going to choose locked, and that way I don't accidentally click and drag it and move it around. All right, I'm going to duplicate the grid layer, and I'm going to move it over here to the left so I have some reference. So again, I'm going to right click, I'm going to bring up this menu here, and I'm going to choose duplicate layer down here. I'm going to click and drag it off and bring it over here, and look at that, it just works out, so I have a little bit of space there, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lock my grid layers just so nothing happens to them. There we go. And that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead now and save. And then in the next video, we're going to start drawing out the contour of the subject here. So I'm going to come up here to File. I'm going to do Save. It's going to be a PXD because we want to save all of the layers. And I'm going to go ahead and call this Still Life Apple. And it's going to be a .pxd, which means it can only be used inside Pixlr. It's going to go ahead and do its little countdown there. And there we go. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope this helped you out. I will see you next time in part 2, where we get to the drawing. Thanks, everyone.